I wanted to talk to you about, what's going on in the world today with, substance abuse, mental health, and just really kind of give you an idea of what addiction can do to someone. And, for me, it was something I battled for 11 years. The most clean time I had was 3 months and 11 years. I grew up with a normal life, had food, clothes, didn't have to worry about anything. 2 parents, barely saw them drink in front of me. And it was just, I was an only child, so I had a pretty strict upbringing, and I was always worried about getting in trouble. So I really didn't toe the line too much when it came to my parents, because I had a lot of respect for them. And I actually had to call my parents and say, I need to come home. I'm not going to be able to make it. Like, something's got to change. You think changing your environment, you're not going to bring your problems back home with you. If I just avoid liquor, I'll be okay. As long as I don't touch the prescription pills, I'll be okay. No, that wasn't the case. I was working at the time, and I linked up with someone I was in high school with and started getting into other substances again. And it just from there spiraled out of control. And really, life is short. You never know when you're going to go. So kind of for me, when my whole life changed was November of 2016 started. I lost 4 family members in 5 months. The 4th one, my cousin Nicole, Gland, 23 years old, beautiful, had her whole life ahead of her. She was working at a bar called the Upper Deck. One night she's closing the bar and she's walking out to her car. She gets in her Ford Escape. She's parked behind the post office. She wasn't alone. The guy stabbed her 25 times. That was the tipping point for me, because I almost blamed myself, because I felt like, look at me, I'm living such a crappy life, I'm hooked on pills, and, I'm drinking, my relationships are suffering. She finally was starting to figure out how to live. Addiction progressed so quickly for me, it made my depression worse. When I lost all those family members, one of the things, coping skills, I really didn't lose any family members until that time. And, I suffer from depression. So, substance abuse, depression is a terrible mixture. Suicidal thoughts, self-harm, things you're familiar with, it's the ugly reality of it all. December 4th, 2017, I was at home by myself, and it was one of those days where that's all I needed. One of those days where the comments that were said to me, the conversations that I had me to the point where I had enough. I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. I had a 9mm for home defense. And, I keep it locked up underneath my bed. Well, that night, I grabbed the gun and I grabbed one hollow point. And, I'm walking out to the front porch, Chocolate Lab's behind me, and I'm thinking to myself, how would your family feel, what you're doing? So in my mind, insanity goes off. And I'm thinking, okay, so I'm going to make it so that my parents can still have an open casket and it's not a horror scene when they come to the house. So if anyone knows anything about the femoral artery, if you sever it, you will bleed out in 7 minutes. That night, sat on the front porch, put the 9mm up to my leg. I didn't even think twice. I pulled the trigger. I was 1 millimeter away from, 1, I wouldn't be talking to you right now. 2, I probably wouldn't have a leg if I did make it. And I didn't know how to cope with what I just did. I didn't understand why I was still here. everyone kind of treated me as if I was the elephant in the room. One of the things, and I truly believe you have to go through certain things in life to get to where you are today. I had to go through all that on my own to become the person that I am today. If I'm going to do something with my life, I have to make a difference. Every day we have the chance to impact someone's life. Everything might seem okay on the outside, but on the inside, they might be fighting something that you know nothing about. But that one comment, that one gesture, that could save their life that day. No one asks to be an addict. No one does. No one puts that on their number one thing to become in life. Asking for help isn't a sign of weakness. It's getting worse. And it's everywhere. But that's why I don't count my days. I don't. I live every day like it's my last, and I make the best of what I have in my 24. Every day we have the chance to impact, change, save someone's life.